Are you looking to grow revenues, increase profitability, or obtain financing? If so, you came to the right place.
Running a business is all about leadership. How do you become a better leader? Learn from the successful entrepreneurs and business owners how to lead your organization more effectively. That's why we created Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business, to help you succeed with your host, Andrew Frazier, Business Growth Pro and CFO and founder of the Small Business Pro University. Every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're joined by experienced entrepreneurs and business owners who share their secrets to success via Livestream. Also, every Friday morning, we release a new podcast episode. Either way, you will learn about developing your business leadership skills from our roster of highly performing guest experts. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at sbpro.u.com.
Good evening and welcome to Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business. I'm your host, Andrew Frazier, and excited to be here once again, talking small business, my favorite topic. Every week we have a tremendous guest to really talk about a key topic of interest for entrepreneurs and business owners. We talk about how leadership is so important to the success of your business, and that's why we focus on really bringing some exceptional leaders to talk a little bit about some of how they lead their organizations. And I think one of the keys to leadership is your inspiration. You know, at the end of the day, your business can only go as far as you're prepared to take it. And part of it's your inspiration. You know, when you start out in business, you're all excited, you have a lot of inspiration, but sometimes as you've been in business, you get beat down a little bit, things happen, and sometimes you're not as inspired as you have been, or you could be. And tonight we're going to talk about kind of, you know, how do you stay inspired, you know, keep making sure that you're excited about what you're doing, because that is infectious. So tonight's guest is Ramon Ray, and he's doing great things, you know, not just here in Jersey, but around the country, and not really even just around the country. You know, he's internationally known. So, you know, he has a lot of great things to share, and I'm very excited about having him as my guest today. Hey, Ramon, how you doing?
Andrew, I'm fantastic. It's so good to be here, and thanks for taking the time to have me on your show. Can't wait to talk to your audience and share what I can with them and learn from you and everybody here today. So thanks so much for having me. It's good to be here.
Okay, great to have you. You know, definitely inspiration is key to, you know, not just in business, but in life. And, you know, you've been speaking, you've been working with business owners, and, you know, you're always full of energy and, you know, always inspired. So we want to figure out how you do that, so we can do that ourselves. But before we do that, you know, everybody has a journey of how they've gotten to where they are. So tell me a little bit about kind of how you are able to really, you know, how you've gotten to where you are, and sort of where you started, and some of the key things that you learned along the way. So feel free to take a couple minutes to share that.
Sure. And Daryl, thanks for being here. Daryl, good to see you. Daryl Spence, what's up? And I think part of it, Andrew, is from following amazing people like you. I mean, you're a man of consistency, Daryl, as well. So kudos to you for having this show. What's up, Kate? Good to see you and good to be here. But I think the journey isn't, the summary of it is, Andrew, really is, I was at the United Nations for a large part of my career, over 10 years. I got that job right before I was in college, kind of the first year in college, just to make some extra money. And the entrepreneur bug, for whatever reason, we can go into it if you want, but it was within me. Even at the UN, I started at least 2 or 3 businesses, small companies. and sold one or two while I was there. So I have this desire to be entrepreneurial, to start my own path, create my own journey, as it were. And that led to who I am today, starting 4 companies in total. My technology consulting firm, which was just me, small company, which I dissolved, and then started smallbiztechnology.com, which I sold in 2019 after 20 years. And then I started an event business. And so I sold that. And today I own Smart Hustle Media. And I'm on track to do some big things with that as well, and launching a 5th company about leadership and protection in the next few days. So that's a bit about me, Andrew, how I got here. And I think that it's definitely been, as Dave Ramsey says, a 20+ year overnight success. And I have a long way to go. I'm a father of 2 adult kids. We're married almost 30 years, but I hope that was helpful. A little bit how I got here. I can share more if it's helpful for you. But that's what it is so far.
Excellent.
So I hope that was helpful.
So I'm sorry, I was hitting the wrong button.
I know, I know it is, brother. It's all good. It's
a long day.
Live podcast. Andrew's hitting 10 different buttons. It's not easy.
But definitely excited to be here. Appreciate everybody tuning in. As always, we appreciate your comments, your feedback, your questions, and we'll make sure to answer any questions you have or share anything. Feel free to share anything that you'd like, because we're here for you. And it's really about sharing some of the things that we've learned. And it's hard enough being a small business owner, so the goal is to really help make that path a little bit easier and better for you. So you've got exciting things going on. And many times what they say is, you usually are most successful after your first few businesses. So talk a little bit about your first couple of businesses and what you learned.
Yeah, I've learned a lot, Andrew, and great question. I can't wait to hear from you as well on this, but I think that the technology consulting company was Family Computer Consulting Services. And I think the one thing I learned there was not to rush. I was working on a client's modem. If anybody remembers those, back in the day, you plug it in and hear the connection, and I broke the modem right when he was right there watching what I was doing. And he was this big, burly weapons carrying guy that happened to be a security officer at the United Nations. So that was a small lesson learned there, but I did it. And I had my first clients in that business. So that was one lesson learned there. Second company I started, smallbiztechnology.com. None of these were billion-dollar companies, Andrew. And I'm always the person who says, I can't teach you how to build a multi-billion-dollar company. That's not me. But I've definitely started several small companies, and that I can do, generating hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I can teach you how to generate hundreds of thousands to low million or so in revenue. And I'm very proud of that, because if you're very profitable, that's a big deal as well. So that was the second company, smallbiztechnology.com. And I think the lesson learned there was that just to keep going, and know who your audience is. Third business was my event business, Small Business Summit. And I did that in partnership with a partner. Her name was Marion Banker. Beautiful, amazing woman, several years older than me. And we made a good partnership. She was more the cautious type and pause and slower type, slower meaning slower to contemplating, taking her time in a good way. And I was the fast, always on person. We made a great team. Like you, Andrew, she was good at numbers. I was good at marketing. So we made a great combination, because I think those two things are important. And then the company I run today is Smart Hustle Media. And that's a media company where we educate small businesses about how to start and grow their companies. We work with large brands to provide content to them to reach small businesses. And as I said, I'm on the cusp of starting a brand new business with a U.S. Army Green Beret and a very successful car dealer in the Virginia area. So we're about to build a business focused on leadership and protection. So those are my 5 companies to date. And I probably have 1 or 2 more inside me, or some investments, but we'll see what happens. How was that?
Excellent. So, no, I think you mentioned one thing is you got to stay in the game.
Yes.
And the longer you're in the game, the better you become, and the more successful and the easier it becomes. One of my clients I'd been coaching for a long time, she was like, things that worried her or stressed her in the early years, it's like, that's nothing. And it just, being in the game helps you be more successful. So even if you're having a tough time now, definitely you don't want to throw in the towel.
Yes.
If you can help it.
And I'll add one thing that, Andrew, if I may. What does the saying go, Andrew? That the only shot you miss is the one you never take. It's I'm probably saying it wrong, but we've heard it over and over again. So I think you're right. Part of that's consistency, right? You just don't know who's looking. You don't know who's watching. You don't know who you can work with. So consistency. Absolutely.
Yeah. And every day is a new day. So a lot of different things can happen. One person I work with, they were close to throwing in the towel because they got in a little trouble with some predatory lenders, but came through, and their business is more successful than ever now. So sometimes the adversity just helps you to move in the direction that you need to move in. So
that's right.
So excellent. So, one thing you talked about is your partner and, having different skills, and, definitely to be a business owner, there's so many skills and things abilities you have to have, whether, and it's nice to have someone who has different expertise than you, so you don't have to carry the full burden. But it's very difficult many times to hold a partnership together.
Forget about it. Yes.
So talk a little bit about how you guys were able to manage to do that, and what your strategy was around that.
No, Andrew, you're so right. I think partnerships can be definitely a interesting thing, as it were. But I think that a few things happen. I think one, we trusted each other, and I think any partnership, Andrew, you have to have trust. That's just absolutely for sure important. If you don't have trust, game over. So I think one is trust we had with each other, that we had each other's backs. We were going in the same direction. I think number two, we knew where our lanes were. She was the finance person, spreadsheets and looking at the money, and she trusted me with the marketing to get the word out and to build the business and generate sales. So I think that was part number two. And then in this partnership I'm looking at with the two other amazing gentlemen who I'll be forming this company with, one guy is a U.S. Special Forces, and these guys are just such A-type people that are so multi-skilled in so many things they can do, and he's providing that level of skill and discipline and the skill sets of the company that he's bringing, the protection aspect and leadership he's bringing there. The other partner, his skill set is running a business and leadership and hiring people and the numbers and building a business. So what a great thing to work with him. And then there's me, who brings the marketing acumen and other things that I can hopefully bring to the team. So I think trust is important, walking together, knowing that, are we going in the same journey? Are we going in the same path of what we can do together? I think those two things are important. And I think one little secret sauce we had is that since it was 50-50, if it wasn't really that important to me, but it was something that I would say, hey, listen, I want to flag this to you, but it's not really that important, and it was important to her, she'd win that. But if it was something, and I'd say, hey, Marion, this is non-negotiable, Marion. We got to have, white marshmallows, at the event. I'm teasing. She'd say, okay, Ramon, if it's really important to you, let's do it. So I think that was important. But again, part of the trust. And since we knew we wanted to go together, we wanted to build a profitable business. We wanted to serve sponsors. We knew we wanted to have a certain flow to the event. We worked very well together. Precious Williams is here. What's up, Precious? Oh, my God.
Excellent. So so definitely, having that flow, and when you have a business, it's almost like the business is your child.
You forget about it. Yes.
You had a family, because you had a mother and a father, and your business as a child. So, you have to be able to manage your relationships, and it's good that you were able to not have to be right all the time. Right. Some people feel they have to be right. So
and Andrew, part of that, be right, if I can add, there's give and take, right? Meaning, given you and I are working together, right? We're going on the same path. Maybe I am right, but I think I wasn't know who said it. Will Smith may have said it. He had his mistakes, but I'm still going to quote Will Smith. I think he had a great video, something like, or it could be Denzel, but you may be right, but not correct, or something like that. It may be right, but not ethical, if you get what I'm trying to say. So You and I are walking together. Maybe I think it's the right thing to do to have green, but you know what? It's really important to Andrew. He wants to have blue. Let's let it fly. So,
yeah. So no, definitely, that's key. And at the end of the day, to be a great leader, you really have to build relationships.
Yes.
It's all about building relationships, and there's key strategies for building relationships. But what do you look for people in relationships that you think will be valuable, and what do you do to yourself to help facilitate valuable and successful relationships with people.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, Andrew. I mean, again, I think that, and Andrew, I'd love to know your input on this, Andrew, because you're like the business guru here. So I'd love to know what you see in relationships too. But I think since you're asking me, one thing I think I could say is that we going in the same place, in the same direction. I think that's real important to taking some time, Andrew, to really understand who is this person. When I see their phone number on my caller ID, does my face light up and smile, or am I like, oh man? So I think that's important as well. And I think goes back to the trust. We're going to miscommunicate. We may make mistakes. Some things may happen, but do I implicitly trust them? I think that's important, because if you're not sure the direction you're going, or there's any doubt, the Bible talks about how can two walk together unless they're joined, or something like that, right? I'm misquoting it, but I think that's important. So I think of a relationship, and I think also, Andrew, another thing that's important is there are different types of relationships, right? I mean, if you look at that in your own business and how you roll, you're an accomplished business person as well. So I think that that's the important aspect as well. Where are we going? Where are we going, and what do we want out of it? I think those are some things that I would say. But I think it takes time. I think the best relationships, especially before you start it takes time. And then you can segment the type of relationships you have. If me and Andrew are working together and we're writing a book, that's a bit different than if me and Precious Williams are working together and building the next $1 billion speaking and coaching business, right? Two different things, two different risk levels in that partnership. So was that helpful, Andrew? What do you think? That's my 2 cents on that. But what do you think about relationships and partnerships?
No, I mean, definitely you have different relationships with different people, and based on sort of where you have commonalities and common interests. And, every relationship isn't necessarily meant to last. Some relationships are for a period of time, where others are, indefinite. I'm celebrating 30 years of marriage this year, which is crazy. I'm not even that old, but that's one of the bedrock relationships that you can have.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
But one thing, there's usually 3 books that I usually have most of my clients read.
Okay, Andrew, before you see the 3 books, Andrew, we're going to have a test. If I don't have one of these 3 books on my shelf, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to slap myself silly. Okay, let's see what the 3 books are. Let me see.
So what are the odds of that?
Let's see, Andrew. Let's see.
Okay. So the first one I'm sure you have, and that is The E-Myth by Michael Gerber.
Ding, ding, ding. Okay, I got that one. I got the E-Myth right here. Got it on my shelf. And this is on my VIP shelf, the books that mean most to me. Go ahead. Okay.
Okay. Number 2, you probably also have, but maybe not. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
I don't have that one here. I may have it back there, but I do have a cousin to that, but I'll tell you about that one later. We'll go back and forth here a bit.
But that one's critical. That's all about relationships. Thanks, Daryl. Daryl's, saying that I'll buy one for all participants.
That's right.
I probably got enough of them here because I lend them out and they never come back. So I usually just keep extra ones. And then the third one, you probably don't have.
Okay.
And that's The One-Page Marketing Plan by Alan Dibb.
Okay. Should I share my list, Andrew? We'll go back and forth.
Sure.
So what were your 3 again? Share it again.
The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. You've got One-Page Marketing Plan by Alan Dibb. And you've got How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Love it. Love it. So I love it. So a few mine, and Andrew, by the way, your audience, if they DM me on Instagram, the word best books, DM me on Instagram, best books. My Instagram is Ramon Ray Smart Hustle. They can get a whole list of my top 10 books for small business owners, but I'll just mention 3. Yeah. So one of them is Profit First, my friend Mike Michalowicz, which many people have. Mark Michalowicz, Profit First. And I have so many good books here. I think another one I'll call out is The Like Switch. The Like Switch is by an FBI not anti-terrorism. What do they call it? I forgot what you call them, but behavioral analysis and those who anti-spy, counterintelligence officer, The Like Switch. And I'll call out one other one by my friend Phil Jones called Exactly What to Say. Exactly What to Say, all about the right words we say. Ooh, Jim Collins, Flywheel. Turning the Flywheel is also amazing. Precious is going to force me to talk about my own book. Okay. And then my own book, Celebrity CEO, which is about personal branding and grow your solo business. So those are a few. But again, people can DM me on Instagram, best books, and I will, they'll get my list of top 10 books for small business owners.
Okay, cool. And actually, you know, I left mine out as well.
Okay.
But definitely recommend them.
Absolutely.
and all. So, but I have one of yours. So
Awesome.
I still got to work on my library as far as those, but it's all, you can learn so much from other people, their perspectives, their experiences. So, you know, reading is always great. So, you know, so definitely, Precious, thanks for your comments as well, and glad that you could join us tonight. So, you know, really, you know, at the end of the day, you know, every day you come out and you have a lot of energy, you're excited about what you're doing. How do you keep that up?
Mm-hmm.
You know, how do you maintain that? And, you know, what do you do personally to be able to be in the shape and be focused the way you are on your businesses?
4 things I'll try to say, and I have to be careful, Andrew, about saying 4 things because I may forget the 4 things. But one, I think, is God has made us all uniquely different. Some people, like I have a friend, Larissa Harrington, she's definitely full of energy, but her energy is different. And she has these segments she does on Clubhouse, and she's a bit more quieter, reserved. Her voice is smoother, kind of like butter, like NPR. God's given me a body and a type that's a bit more hype and high energy. Precious Williams and I are kind of like that, my sister. So I'm just built that way. This is Ramon Ray is like that. So that's one. We're all different. I think point 2, the other thing is that what keeps me going is definitely my family motivates me, Andrew. I wasn't born of wealth. I don't have like some big nest egg there where I can just sit down and do nothing. No, I have to perform every single day or shortly I won't eat. So that keeps me going. It's just my family, my dedication to my wife, even though I have 2 adult kids, one out of the home doing their own thing. My daughter, she works full time still. I have to keep moving. As Danelle Delgado says, who loses if you don't win? So every day when I wake up, I know I have to win because people are counting on me. That's point 2. 3, you asked about health and things like that. Yeah, for sure. Health is important to me. I'm not the fittest person in the world, but absolutely, for sure. When I wake up in the morning, I have a routine of I eat a fruit, I eat a bottle of water, I read my Bible, I have prayer, devotion time, and I do a workout. Not some rah, working out like a gym rat, but I do a power workout outside, usually a fast walk. I do my push-ups and sit-ups and stretches every single day. So that's, Ramon, how I keep my body fit. So I think between physical fitness, mental fitness, and spiritual fitness, I think that's what keeps us all going. So I hope that was helpful. But for me, I think it's important to understand. And in fact, I just put something on just today, Smart Hustle, Andrew, where I talked about, it's going to publish tomorrow, I think. I'm often asked, Ramon, I'm quieter, Ramon. I'm an introvert. I'm not, quote unquote, high energy like you are. Don't be like Ramon. You can't be like me, and I can't be you because we're uniquely different. But one thing I say is, talking about the rubric of being a speaker and being a communicator, everyone does not have to be loud. Everyone does not have to be gregarious and like I am. No, everyone doesn't have to. But one thing I will say, everybody has to be engaging. That's important. Everybody has to be engaging. And that's something that can be learned. That's something that can be trained, is to be engaging. So that, for me, I hope I answered the question, though. Again, I'll repeat that, is just my health and workout, and physically, mentally, and spiritually. And then I think we all have something that drives us forward. Either, Andrew, something we're running from or something we're running to. And I must say, I'll share one other thing, is that the aspect of I've suffered with intense depression and intense, I'll say it gently, self-harm. Suffered through that. I didn't do that action, but I had these things talking in my head, Andrew. So for me, I never want to go back to that dark time. So I have no choice but to stay up, to stay positive. And that motivation, also knowing that I can impact the lives of others, helps me. Oh, and while I'm on a roll here, Andrew, am I going too long, Andrew? Can I have time for one more thing?
Whatever you want.
Okay. One more thing is, and feel free to stay in that image if you want, but one more thing is, I roll with amazing people. So that helps as well, knowing that I can roll with people who also uplift me, and we're driving together, rolling together. That inspires me, and I cheer other people on. So thank you. I hope that's helpful.
Oh, no, that was excellent. That was excellent. And actually, I think, be yourself.
Yes.
Your family, you've got a morning routine. So you have something consistent and, what drives you. And, but the last thing you said, I think is super important is rolling with people.
Yes.
Because a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners really try to go it alone. And that's the most difficult way to do it. One, it can be lonely. Entrepreneur Michael Dermer wrote the book, The Lonely Entrepreneur, because, you can get into your mind and, feel like you're the only person. So, finding people is good. And, how do you find people and what type of people do you hang out with?
I love it. And Andrew, let me add to that. I think that's a great point. I think that going back to this aspect, and hey, Beverly, welcome. Going to what you just said, Andrew, I think is so interesting is that there's two types of people or categories. Let me explain it this way. I was talking to one young lady, and Andrew, her childhood and her background, it's pretty tough, very sad. And I explained to her, I said, the issues you're facing now probably stem from your childhood. And this is more metaphorical, but your mama calling you stupid, your daddy saying he don't love you, your uncle saying you'll be no good. Now, I haven't had too deep in that as a family. I was raised in a 2-parent family. God bless me with very good parents, but I understand that. When I was growing up, Andrew, I couldn't spell too well, and my writing was horrible. I would be horrified to write on the blackboard up front. So my point is, some people as adults now, we've suffered with jacked up lives in the past, and our baggage back there, we got to let that go. But added to that, Andrew, if Andrew's trying to be the best business coach in the world, which he already is, but he's trying to be bigger than that, that means he got to roll with other people who can up level his game. I don't know if it's true or not, Andrew, but I've heard it said like professional basketball players, they don't pretty much play street ball too much. Why? Why should the queen go down with the lower people? Why should the king go down with the lower people? In this example, I'm not saying don't be kind to others, but you get what I'm saying. You need to be at a high level. One example I'll say, even as a speaker, Andrew, it's not in an egotistical way, but I don't sit on panels anymore. Unless it's like Oprah, Barack, and Donald Trump, I don't sit on panels. My career is gone enough where I only MC, only keynote, or if I'm moderating a panel. So I hope that kind of made sense. But my point is hanging with people, rolling with people, keeping your game at a certain level, because iron sharpens iron. So I never want to be around plastic unless I'm converting the plastic into metal. That's the only reason I want to be with plastic. Other than that, iron sharpens iron all day.
Yep. And, really as a business owner, you have to evolve. You learn, you develop, you have to continue to move forward. And, that's where you build new relationships. Not all relationships continue to grow with you the way you're growing, and that's okay. But, you have to move forward into your destiny and not be afraid to. For me, it's interesting that I even have a show because I'm, engineer, quiet thinker, and but by doing things that aren't in my comfort zone, and you as well, that's the only way you've been able to develop and grow. So just because something makes you nervous or whatever, it's important for you as a business owner to really attack it and go after it rather than be afraid of it.
Truth, facts, as they say, facts.
Yeah. So definitely those are key things. We're about halfway through, but we're going to take a quick break. We do this through the Small Business Pro University, and definitely be good to know sort of what the Small Business Pro University is. So we have a quick 1-minute video, and then I'll be back with Ramon Ray, and we're going to talk about finding your inspiration.
Woo.
Do you own your business or does it own you? Is your business growing and are you making enough money? As a business owner, there are so many things you need to know to become more successful. Hello, my name is Andrew Frazier, the Business Growth Pro and CFO. I created the Small Business Pro University for you. Small Business Pro University has self-paced, dynamic, multimedia learning experiences created by more than 20 instructors who are business owners just like you. Small Business Pro University will empower you to become a masterpreneur by learning the secrets to creating a successful enterprise, to go from working in your business to working on your business. Take advantage of our strategic coaching program, or just simply choose the courses that you need at www.sbprou.com. We will empower you to thrive and not just survive, and make more money in any business environment. Okay. Welcome back to Leadership Live at 8:05 Talking Small Business. I'm here with my man Ramon, and we're just hanging out tonight and really discussing something important. As a business owner, you face really high highs, but really low lows. And, you talked a little bit about how that can be challenging. What are some other ways that you deal with, the times that may not be as good as you would have expected or that you would like them to be?
Yeah, I think it's interesting, and it's easier said than done what to do when you're down, when you're low, when you're low, when you're in the muck of business or life. But I've been there, Andrew, and have I been as low as some? No. High as others? No. But I do know what it's like to be lower than I want to be. And I recall one thing that happened March 2020, I think it would be, at the start of the pandemic, right before President Trump had announced that America was closed for business. We were all refreshing our screens, many of us digital people, wondering, was South by Southwest going to happen or not? And I was wondering, is it going to happen? All of a sudden, a realization hit me Friday, March 20th, I believe it was, when President Trump said, America's closed. We're closing the country down. What? Now, I'm a speaker. I fly around the world on stages and speak and host events. That revenue stream was canceled, shut down, done. So what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I took a minute or two to cry, to mourn, as it were. Took a minute or two to acknowledge that. So I think that's an important part of the process. You can't just ignore it and move on. Something bad's happened. Okay, let's understand that. But then I had to quickly say, what am I going to do about it? So I knew I could drive Uber. That was one thing literally that I think, that Uber was closing because I had to provide for my family. I knew that I could go to my church and eat soup and peanut butter. That sounds nasty, but soup and peanut butter in my church, if I had to, right? Knew I could, I don't know what, do something else to God bring revenue. But then I said, let me do a Survive and Thrive conference. Andrew, I did a Survive and Thrive conference in April 2020, just weeks after at the start of the pandemic. I had 3 major sponsors. I brought in tens of thousands, more than tens of thousands, but tens of thousands of dollars, and brought in about over 1,000 attendees. That carried me through much of that year. So my point is, we hear the saying, when life throws lemons at you, make lemonades. That's what we have to do when we're feeling down, when we're feeling negative. We have to acknowledge it. We shouldn't ignore it. We should acknowledge and embrace those feelings. That's happening, sure. But after we acknowledge and embrace it, get back up, baby. Get back up. Scrape off your shirt. Scrape off your knees. And now what are you going to do for the solution about it? And all the time, the solution, you may not be where you thought you were going to be. You may be making $100,000 a year. Now you're making 80, but you can what's called triage it. I think the word is triage they use in the medical terms, right? They look quickly at it. Oh, broken arm, he can wait. Ooh, bleeding from the neck, we got to deal with him right now. That's what you have to do in business. It's ruthless. I had to reduce some of my staffing. I had to cut some things, change things around, but I'm rebounding. And as I shared with you, Andrew, I'll just tell people right now, I'm not going to say the details, but I'm in the middle of an acquisition. So I'm very excited about that. It's a life-changing event. Again, it's in the middle of it. So we'll see, make sure it goes through. But I'm in the middle of starting another company, middle of launching a brand new project website. So listen, as Donnie McClurkin says, we fall down and we get up. Those who don't know Donnie McClurkin, don't worry about it.
Okay. Great song, though. So, no, definitely, every business owner has gone through that. You can't control the environment around you or what's going to happen, but you have to go and face it head on. So it's important to do that. I've been similarly. I owned a lot of real estate in Florida in 2007. That wasn't fun. It took me several years to kind of work that out, but every day, you come back and
right.
You learn so much more during those times. And one thing I always tell business owners, and sort of had a webinar on thriving and in any business environment,
Yes.
and really 3 key things that especially during the pandemic, but you should be doing in general is, number 1, you need to be proactive. You can't wait for things to happen. You have to make things happen, try things. Not everything out is going to work, but if you don't do anything, nothing's going to happen.
Ooh, that's right.
Number 2 is creativity. You as a small business owner, your advantage is you can be more creative.
Yes.
You were super creative in what you did. You did something different. And part of that is being able to look at the trends. What's going on? What are people's needs, wants, and desires? How have they changed? And what can you do to meet them? And then finally, flexibility. You have to be flexible. You can't, you have to be willing to do what it takes. And a lot of other businesses may not. And that's really how you can compete with larger businesses, because more and more we are competing with larger businesses, and those are key things. So any other examples of ways that you or people you've worked with have really moved creatively during the pandemic to really pivot your businesses?
Sure. I'll give one more example of myself again, and then I'll give another example about a small business. But another low period of life is when I was fired from United Nations. I mean, how can you get fired from United Nations? Only people who get fired from United Nations are people who steal millions and millions of dollars. And even then, sometimes they don't, right? So, I mean, how can you get fired? But I did. And my contract wasn't renewed, but I said I got fired, same thing. So bottom line is, I remember when that incident happened, that is what thrust me into full-time entrepreneurship. And so that was another example where, okay, here's the cards that have dealt with me. Here's what's happened to me. What am I going to do about it? That's right, Kira, but we get up. And if I wasn't fired from the United Nations, I probably wouldn't be who I am today. So that was one method to understand. I think, as my friend Alexandra Carter says, a book that I love, her book here is called Ask for More. It's not related to getting back up, but her book, she always talks about sometimes a no saves you from a bad yes. Some things we want in life, we want, but sometimes when it doesn't happen, it saves you from something else. So I think that's one. Another thing that happened, I was interviewing, another book, I'll show you. I was interviewing some current and former executives of Square. In this book, I was interviewing them just a few days ago, and they gave an example how during the pandemic, there was a small business owner that changed and shifted their packaging types. Simple tweak, but sometimes it's one thing you do that makes the difference. So they changed their packaging types to save money. So that's a simple example where it doesn't take a lot, but if you think and you're innovative, you can sometimes have some of the biggest results from some of the smallest tweaks. So those are a few things, Andrew, that come to mind for me with how we can change and how we can make lemonade from lemons, as the old saying goes.
Okay. No, definitely. It's, there's a lot of different ways. So now on your conference, we have a question from Roberta, and she was just asking, so, the conference worked well for you. How did it work for your sponsors?
Roberta, you can't ask questions. Andrew didn't say there's going to be questions. What? I'm leaving. No, I can't. No. Great question, Roberta. Thanks for asking the question. Appreciate it. Anybody who has a question, feel free to ask. I'd love to answer questions all night long. Andrew, we can do the, like Hot 97. You have one of those voices. Hey, everybody, we're going to have the all-night Q&A with Andrew and Ramon. But Roberta, yes. So if I understand the question right, so yes, part of sponsorship, I'll just do a little mini masterclass of sponsorship. You have an event, or whatever you're doing, but an event, and it costs X dollars. and you're saying to sponsors, would you like to pay me X dollars to sponsor said event? Why are the sponsors doing it? The sponsors are doing it for any number of reasons. One, maybe they want more visibility to the audience. Most people throw up a brand or a logo, things like that. That's the least. Second thing many sponsors want, which is where many of my sponsors want, they want face time in front of the audience. They want to put their executives on a stage. So they will pay for the privilege of having their executives on a stage. Number three, then they want that content to use afterwards. Number four, it's nice if they can email or you can email on their behalf a little incentive or a little call to action to the thousands who may sign up for your event. So those people who are at your event can then be in the sponsor's funnel or buy from the sponsor. Fifth thing that I've done before is to give the sponsors publicity. Many of my larger events, my in-person events, I'll do things like invite Inc. Magazine or Entrepreneur or Forbes or Wall Street Journal, whoever it is, to my big event, especially in person, and have them interview some of the sponsors. Sponsors love that. So let me know, Roberta. I hope that was helpful. Those are the things I do when I do sponsorships for events. I think of what does the sponsor want? What's the value to them? Let me reverse engineer it, package it, and sell them exactly what they want. And part of that, Andrew, and I know you know this well, is to talk and sell, yes, but then to shut the heck up and listen to what they're saying. Listen to their need. That's important as well.
Okay. And, it's interesting because a lot of times what they value is different than what you think they value. And, sometimes they're looking for less than you really think they may be. So definitely listening is good.
And if I may add one more thing, Andrew, I'll tell you something that happened just a few days ago. I was applying for a position somewhere, doing something, not per se a job, I'm an entrepreneur, but something I was applying for. And they told me what they needed. I said, nope, can't do that. I stopped them right in the spot and said, nope, it's not a fit for me. One, they were grateful that I rejected it because most people would have said, oh, no, I want the money. But I said, I can't do it. But then they said, wait a minute here. What do you want and what can you do? And you know what they really wanted, Andrew? They were kind of combining two job descriptions. And I said, if you want somebody who's engaging to be an on-camera host, that's my jam all day. But if you need someone to do admin work, anybody, quote unquote, can do that. And I helped them learn what they really wanted was a host. So we're still in talks, if that makes sense. To your point, meaning if you take the time to listen, even though Andrew may have said, Ramon, I want a shirt. He said shirt. Andrew really wanted a suit. If you give silly example, but that's part of listening.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm the same way. I do outsource CFO, but I'm not going to do your bookkeeping.
There you go.
I'll find you a good bookkeeper, but I'm not going to do your bookkeeping. And I always tell business owners to focus on what they do best and most profitably. And if you follow that model, then you're always going to be successful because you're going to be the best at what you're doing and you're going to be excited about doing it. So yeah, definitely 100%. So we were talking about sponsorship. We were talking about events. So, just in case there's any sponsors out there, actually my Power Breakfast and conference is coming up on July 29th. So definitely be glad to talk to you about the value of participating. And also, if you're on, if you're in New Jersey or anywhere near, you should come check it out. And, if you don't really know what it's all about, this is our 10th year. We're celebrating 10 years of successful events. And we've, it's led to millions of dollars in economic development, financing, and we've had over 1,000 people in attendance. Started in Newark, New Jersey, and we're coming back to Newark, New Jersey. And here's a quick preview of what the Power Breakfast is all about. If you are looking to increase revenues, improve profitability, and or obtain financing for your business, you need to check out the Power Breakfast and Small Business Pro conferences. My name is Andrew Frazier. One of the things we're here to do is supercharge your day.
Today's Power Breakfast has really been a phenomenal experience. I think it's exactly what business owners need, some true guidance of people who are genuine and really are leading them in the true direction of business growth and expansion.
The Power Breakfast is so important for the entrepreneurial community because it gives the various business people who come together an opportunity to interact and also do some business.
These events hosted by Andrew Frazier president and COO of Small Business Like a Pro, will supercharge your day.
Okay, welcome back to Leadership Live. Definitely heard a little bit about the Power Breakfast. I put the link in the chat, www.the-power-breakfast.com, and would love to see you there.
And Andrew, congratulations, man. That's a baller event. You guys see it, and I said, guess what I saw? It's amazing how small the world is. My boy Joe Bear, I don't know if you know that, yeah, LinkedIn expert, and just what a great guy. Can I tell you a story about Joe Bear? Is there time? You mind?
Sure.
So what happened, Andrew? Me and him were at Social Media Marketing World, big event in San Diego, and he was a volunteer for the event. And, I didn't know him. He didn't know me. I was just the room host, and he was just a volunteer. Not in begrudging. I wasn't begrudging him, but meaning in the quick, everybody has positions. That's the cleaner. That's the volunteer. That's the cook, and you're moving on. So the speaker for that room didn't show up, and it was about LinkedIn. And so earlier, Jaber and I were talking. He said he know LinkedIn. So I'm like, yo, dude, speaker's not here. I know LinkedIn, but you said you're the expert. Can you take the mic? He wasn't ready. It wasn't prepared. He said, yeah. The dude gave a master class for about 45 minutes all about LinkedIn. So Jaber, if you're hearing this, and maybe we'll tag you in the comments or something, shouting you out, brother. I just saw you on the Power Breakfast with Andrew Frazier, his promo video. So I just wanted to give some dap to him and to you, brother. That's awesome.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, no, Jaber's excellent. He's been a guest on here, and I met him through the Power Breakfast. Actually, someone brought him to the Power Breakfast. And we met, we connected. He actually helped me get one of my biggest clients. So, definitely, relationships make a difference.
It does.
So excellent. So, we've covered a whole bunch of stuff tonight. And, like I said, an hour goes fast. We got about 13 minutes left. And, and we've covered a lot of things. But, one of the things that I think that people would like to know, and I'd like to know, is you've been very successful and done a lot of great things. How do you maintain that? Because it's one thing to get there, but sometimes it's even harder to stay there. And what do you do? How do you approach what you do in an effort to do that?
Yeah, a few things I'll say, Andrew, that'll be helpful. And I don't know if this is a direct answer to it. I'm going to say a few things and help me unpack this if you wish when I'm done here. But I think one, I'm very purposeful in the relationships that I have. That's one. Amanda Holmes talks about this concept. I'm sure you've heard it, Andrew. Dream 100. That's usually referred to as sales clients. But I do keep a tight list of those in my list who I want to roll with, those in my network and work with. And I must say, Andrew, now that we're talking all this, you are on that list. So you'll be hearing from Ramon. Andrew, how can I add value to you? What are you up to? How can I serve and be a part of your network? So I think that's one. Be very purposeful who you connect with. Precious Williams was on here earlier. She's in my Dream 100. Ask her. I hit her up every few weeks, every few months. Ask her. So she knows why I do it, because she's on my list just to say what's up. I don't want $1 from her. I don't want $1 from Andrew. That's not that list for. That list is not for that. This is just to say, yo, what's up? I care about you. How are you? How can I add value to you? So that's one, Andrew. I think number two, and you hinted at, Andrew, you got to keep on going. I will be very vulnerable and tell you, Andrew, last year, 2021, was one of the most profitable, best years ever from Ramon Ray and Smart Hustle. These first few parts of the month have been a bit slower, but it's still been great. So all the time, you're not going to be at a sustained high, but you still keep going. And third, Andrew, be willing to innovate. You have to be willing to understand, read the market, and adapt to what's going on. Maybe there's new opportunities that you're missing. Maybe the slowdown gives you time to have a resurgence. So I think that's three. And I must say, Andrew, my faith, again, everybody on here may not believe in God or whatever it is. I happen to be a Christian. So my faith in God is real important. That sustains me. But I think find that faith for you, whatever that may be, whether you believe in God, believe in not. Something, I think, Andrew, beyond ourself, beyond our business, has to be important. Maybe for you, it's your mama. Maybe for somebody else, it's their kids. Maybe for somebody else, it's a nonprofit organization. For me, my faith, I must say, being centered and grounded, since you asked me, that is a big part of what I do. So that's number 4. And I think number 5, I encourage people, always keep learning. Always keep learning. I held the books up here. Some I skimmed through. Some maybe I haven't read very much of them. But Andrew, I'm always learning. Always learning. I think number 6, I will say, Andrew, is always be willing to add value. When you and I met at the Black Enterprise event, we clicked. He's like, yo, Ramon, I see something in you. I don't know what he saw. Maybe my shaved head. Maybe, I don't know, I had broccoli in my teeth. Something he saw. And he's like, yo, I'd like to have you. And I said, yes. So those are a few things I would say, Andrew, with how to maintain, how to keep going, even when maybe a bit tough.
Okay, outstanding. Faith is a very important part of being an entrepreneur. And yeah, like you said, it doesn't matter what you have faith in, but you have to have some level of faith because there's so much uncertainty. And, without some belief, it's very difficult to be successful in that type of environment and be able to stay inspired and believe that you can achieve what you want to achieve. So, outstanding. So, you mentioned adding value. And, even, as you're successful, helping other people be more successful as a key. So a lot of times, when you have relationships, value is a two-way street. Your relationship has to be a two-way street. And, when you're mentoring and working with people, they add value to you as well, or you wouldn't be working with them. But they may not, a lot of people may not feel that they can add value to people who are further ahead of them. But what are some ways that people have added value to you, such that, if you're building relationships, give people some ideas of how they can add value in different ways that they may not even be thinking?
Yeah, it's a good question, Andrew. And I think part of adding value, Andrew, I think is understanding what's in it for the other person. What do they want that will be impactful to them? I think that's important. Now, let me be very clear, Andrew. If there's sales, and if I'm trying to sell custom-made water bottles and I want Andrew as a client, I have to sell Andrew. Andrew, hey, I know you're having an event. I sell, and I don't, Andrew, I'm having fun here. I sell custom water bottles. Andrew, how can I work with you and sit down and understand your needs and sell you 1,000 custom water bottles? That's still helping you, but in fairness, that's a sale. That's a sale where I want money from Andrew. Point taken. And there's space and time for that. But oftentimes I find what I do, Andrew, because I'm very clear, I know who gives me money, but in more of the cases, the people I meet, 80 to 90%, and I'll be frank, Andrew, let's say you and I. Okay, what's Andrew doing? He does events. I do events. He's looking to probably get more small business clients in his network, in his purview. How can I help him achieve that? And so then I can approach Andrew and say, Andrew, what can we do together? So my point being is that I think the best way to work with somebody is to not really think about what's in it for me, what's in it for me. No, how can I take what I have, the tools I have, the skills I have, the network I have, the connections I have, and add value to it. My friend Adrienne Miller, and if anybody's hearing my voice and knows Adrienne Miller, please tag her in here. You do me a favor. Adrienne Miller's her name. Adrienne Miller of Adrienne's Network. And Adrienne says, it's not always about how I can give money to someone or somebody can give money to me, but it's about the network that I have that I can bring to them or the network they have and they can bring to me. So going back to Andrew and Ramon, Andrew may never give Ramon $1. Ramon may never give Andrew $1. But you know what's even more impactful? Me keeping Andrew in mind when there's a big client who I can refer him to. He keeping me in mind when there's a big client he can refer me to. That's kind of, in a way, that mutual networking. What can we do together to uplift each other, even if directly we don't share $1? That, to me, is true upliftment.
Yes. No, definitely. I collaborate with so many people in many different ways. And especially as a small business owner, you can't afford to pay for everything. Yes. But, I have people that help me and, I help them in different ways. And we're all way better because of it. So, there's nothing wrong with doing things for people. And, but also, when you're working with successful people, it doesn't always have to be business related. I've had mentors, one of the biggest things I've done is, help them understand dealing with their kids or, actually met with their kid and talk to them, or just whatever. We're all people. We have different needs, wants, and desires, and no matter who you are and where you are, there's something that you have of value. You just have to figure out what it is and be able to offer it and identify who could benefit from it.
That's right. Absolutely.
So yeah. So definitely this has been a pleasure.
Thank you, Andrew.
I wish we had more time. We could talk forever about my favorite topic and yours too.
That's right.
And but I think we shared a lot of valuable stuff. Great interaction from the audience. We appreciate all the comments, all the questions, and everything. And that's why we do it. And even though we've covered a lot of things, it's hard for everybody to remember everything. But if you can take a minute to think about, what are 3 key things you want people to take away from what we discussed today? I think that could be valuable for people. And we can talk about that. Give you a second to think about it.
I got it.
Okay.
Did you say three things or 30 key things?
3 is plenty. We got a few minutes.
All right. Yeah. And Andrew, again, thank you for having me, Andrew. And I hope everybody goes to The Power Breakfast. I hope everybody goes there. And I can't wait to be there at future breakfasts. But you're an amazing human, Andrew. You're a genius, your brains, your connection, your network. I have a lot to learn from you. And as I say, sit at your feet. I can't wait to do that more and learn from you. But my 3 key tips, I would say, 1, keep going. Assuming you're going the right direction, keep going, keep going, keep going. Don't give up. Even if you slow down, keep pressing forward. I think number 2, really invest in the relationships that you have, whether it's existing clients that you have, pouring more to them, or relationships that are business or otherwise, friendships you have. Pour into those people. I think that's point 2. That's so important. And then number 3, I didn't say this one, but what can you delegate? What can you outsource? How can you do 1 or 2 things that you probably do very, very well, and everything else let someone else do? In my case, Andrew, I'm great at, I'm a speaker and keynote host and things of this nature, a personality as it were. And I'm also pretty darn good at selling and delivering what my clients want. Those are 2 things I do well, but I can surround myself with a team, Andrew, to do everything else. So that's what I would say my 3 takeaways. And it's been just great to be here with you and serve your audience, Andrew. So thank you for having me so much.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here. So we're definitely going to keep going, invest in relationships, and look forward to continuing to do that. And, delegate, focus on what you do best. And, that's what it's all about. So, definitely appreciate you being here. We got a few comments, so just thanks. Let's see who that is from. Christine. Thanks, Christine, for your comment, and Daryl as well.
Thank you, Daryl.
And yeah, excellent. So definitely been a pleasure. Hang out for a sec.
Sure.
We're going to close it out, but another great episode opportunity to really share some good things, and appreciate everybody's feedback and comments. And as always, continue to participate. Ask me questions. If you have any ideas, feel free to reach out, email me. Put Ramon's LinkedIn info on the in the chat. So feel free to reach out to him as well. And, we're going to get ready to close out tonight. But, each week we do have a great conversation and really take on different topics across the board in terms of business. And so next week is no difference. And next week we're going to talk about really embracing asynchronous management to scale. So that sounds like a whole bunch of buzzwords. So we'll just break it down into quick and dirty. What that means is really being able to run a virtual organization so that your organization can be more flexible and more capable and be able to scale faster and easier. So very excited about being able to chat about that next week. So next week, our guest is Liam Martin, and he's co-organizer of Running Remote. He's one of the leaders in that area. So I think we'll get a lot out of it. So really looking forward to that. As always, in business and in life, the more that you know, the faster you're going to grow and be more successful. So appreciate you tuning in and being here with this evening, and look forward to catching you next week.
Thank you for listening to Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at sbpro.u.com.